Gotta be very honest here. Mob Psycho, most probably, hasn't been this dark so far. This has to be one of the darkest episodes that Mob Psycho has ever like put out there, because the darkest we had, closest, even closest to it, was Ritsu's episode where basically uh basically that whole arc where Mob basically wants to rescue Ritsu and everything. That whole arc was somewhat dark, but I wouldn't say it was completely dark. But this arc, the start of this arc, the first episode of this arc, is a completely different environment, a completely different episode for what we have seen so far in any of the episodes of Mob Psycho. Because Mob Psycho, it's been a completely different season here from what it has been to complete, like from season one. Because season one has been more on the fun side, like I said in my previous review. It's been more on the fun side in this season. It seems like Mob is getting into more of his emotions, he's getting out more of his emotions and everything. So to see this episode kind of portray that in somewhat of a way, and even Reiji is being like, is Mob changing and everything? Like, you see that. Plus, there is this powerful spirit. There's someone who's stronger, way stronger than Mob, who is actually fighting him in this episode. So, because in first season there were people that were stronger than Mob, alright, but once Mob hit the explosion meter, basically it was the end for them. That's basically it. But here it's a completely different case from what it was in the previous season or any of the previous episodes. And but what by a completely different case, I mean it's someone who has been through shit and became an evil spirit, and he was a psychic. So basically, he's been through shit to begin with. That's basically like being through some bad time, negative time, and then dying there. Basically, that what happened. That's what happened to him, and now he's possessing this chick. It's also very interesting to me that they actually went forward and actually made people confused in a way, because our for somebody who's watched too many animes, it was too obvious, because it's obvious the chick is lying. Like, let's be honest, sure. Like, it was very obvious that this chick had to do some shit with her with this arc. So it was obvious that she was lying and everything, or he was lying. The spirit was lying, which was patrolling her. But it was interesting to see how they put up the lie factor and everything. And it's also interesting to see that Rage's con artist powers are coming in use here. Like, literally, there was a pretty cool thing to see, because this is what Reiji does. Reiji is a con artist, let's be honest here. And when he sees someone doing this con shit, like con artist shit, you see a completely different thing happening here. And everybody's like, yeah, that's normal. That's pretty normal, you know. Everybody can recognize that. But it's obvious that it was normal. And one of the biggest things about this episode was the animation. The animation looked beautiful for this episode. Straight up beautiful. Like, I don't even have any complaints to go with the animation. Like, it was on a completely different level, and it it was completely different from the previous three episodes. Like, each scene, even the scene where, like, there was this scene where the glasses went through right near Rage's cheek. Like, that whole scene was also pretty damn well animated. Like, this was the animation was on a completely different level for this episode. To and that After that, there's also this scene at the end which really intrigues me a lot, and like makes me want to read the manga, but I'm not gonna read it obviously, because I don't want to spoil myself to what's gonna happen. Because this scene is something that that really caught my interest, if I had to be honest here, because the way this guy was talking to you and how he was speaking about like letting out emotions and everything and taking away Mob's power, giving him a completely different environment without any of his powers, and how he would act like that. Like, he wants to see how Mob will act like that. So that's something to cherish. Like, that's something that's intrigue. I don't know why I said cherish about. I was about to say cherish about what? That's something that intrigues me a lot when it comes to uh, Mob's character, because Mob's character is obviously improving a lot in this season, and I've seen that since episode one. He's starting to show emotions and everything. So this will be a completely different case from him when starting next episode, because he's in a completely different world. It's obviously for 1 or 2 episodes only, but still, he was a completely different world where he can't use any of his powers and everything. And if Mob was a simple kid, I think so. He'll still act the same the way he acts. Just he doesn't have any powers and he can't see any of the ghosts or anything. So that's pretty much it. But he would pretty much act like the same person he is. Like he would just be himself, because he doesn't. If you look at it, Mob really doesn't rely on his powers a lot. He does rely on his powers, but that's only to take care of the spirits and stuff, not like in real life shit, because he's a normal kid. He wants to act more of a normal kid. So if I had to be honest, your Mob's character would pretty much be like a happy to go person. He wouldn't be anything changing anything, except for the fact that he might be surprised that he doesn't have psychic powers, or he's whatever. I don't know if the memories of him having the psychic power was also altered or something like that. But whatever. So that's pretty much it for this episode of Mob Psycho. Let me know what you think about this episode of Mob Psycho. This was a brilliant episode, very honest here. One of the best episodes of Mob Psycho, if I had to put it. Top notch animation, the writing was on point, the story, it's getting very interesting from here onwards. And that's pretty much it for this episode. I'll see you in the next video. As always, peace.